Welcome back to the Shankly Sessions, everybody. This is the Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every week out there on the upper tier. If you could head out there, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. And if you're enjoying the videos, of course, drop a like on them and let us know your feedback. This is your Liverpool versus West Ham preview. But before we get into that, we probably have to have a discussion about the fallout from the Man City game. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever seen a team to take a loss so bad? I mean, we've had some bad losses this season and stuff like that, and we've had to suck it up and drink it in and accept it and move on and try and do our best. But this team is beyond poor losers, aren't they? Really, and we've a lot to unpack before we even get into this preview. As we know today, first of all, Diogo Jota, our hearts go out to him. I mean, he's going to miss out on the World Cup now by the looks of things with that bad calf injury that he sustained during the game. The guy just can't catch a break, only back from injury and starting to find his stride and play really, really well and fundamental to the team and its press and stuff like that. And ends up picking up that calf injury. Really, really feel sorry for the lad missing out on the World Cup. Because in your career as a footballer as well, you only get so many chances to play at that level. And it's a pity, and he's really, really important to that Portuguese side as well, notwithstanding how important he is to us at Liverpool. So yeah, our thoughts go out to him at this moment in time when it's probably very difficult for him mentally to accept that he's missing out on the World Cup. So Diogo Jota, get well soon and hope you do well on your recovery. And we'll see you back as quickly as possible because God knows we need you. Let's talk about then all the other stuff that's come out. Jurgen Klopp has been accused of being xenophobic, which is absolutely ridiculous and something that Man City should retract and should apologise for, to be honest. On top of that, as well, we have he's been cited by the FA on a misconduct charge, and he has till Friday to answer it. Which I assume what's going to happen is he'll be in the dugout for the West Ham game tomorrow. But he'll probably miss the Nottingham Forest game. And it's interesting. There's been a lot of different kind of reactions to this. I mean, obviously, Liverpool would Morris in the comments here. He's saying 4-0. Yeah, happy days, Morris, if that happens. And Warren's in the comments as well. Check out both those guys' channels. Warren's Team Talk. I'm going to be doing some work with Warren on an Irish football show coming up soon. Me, him, Del Boy Gunner, and Kyle Walsh. It's going to be absolutely classics. But check out his channel there. Does some fantastic stuff. His show on a Saturday during the football is absolutely classic. Top-notch band. And appreciate that, Warren. Appreciate that message on Jota. Good stuff. But yeah, it's I suppose, how do we unpack this? I mean, it's just the outcry against them. Like as if these people aren't human beings and stuff like that, And I liked what David Moyes said today. He said he didn't really want to comment on something related to Jurgen Klopp because he's not Jurgen Klopp, which was a good point. But he also made the point, he said, for that 90 minutes and that intensity, you're in a kind of a battle and things do happen. Whether you agree with it or not, things do happen. And do I think Jurgen Klopp went a little bit overboard? Yeah, he went a little bit overboard. But the reality is the officiating in the Premier League is absolutely dreadful. Really, really dreadful. And to be honest with you, you can see why managers get incensed. You look at that foul the other day where Bernardo Silva decided he wanted to be a death row chain around Mo Salah's neck. Um, and it's right in front of the linesman. And the linesman just chooses to ignore it. Just chooses to ignore it. It was borderline assault, and he chose to ignore it. And that incensed Jurgen Klopp to the point where he ran up and got right in the official's grill. And I suppose if you're a fan of the team like I am, you want your manager to show a certain amount of passion. And if you're a rival, of course, you're going to jump on it and go, nah, this is not what we want. The mascot just came in there now. But that's kind of the varying views on it and stuff like that. And then you get all the hyperbolic stuff about like, oh, it's a disgrace. This is the end of the world. Jurgen Klopp shouting in an official's face. The world's about to change, and all this kind of thing. And then of course you get an ex-referee coming out with his little article in the newspaper, just trying to throw his twopence worth in, going, oh, a fine is not enough for this. He should get a 3-match ban for that. And if he offends again, he should get a 6-match ban. because that's exactly what the league needs. The league now needs managers getting banned for 6 games. What a stupid statement. Let's talk about the officiating. Is that linesman going to get called in today? Because he didn't do his job, clearly didn't do his job properly. No, he probably won't get called in. Will he be out again this week, midweek, probably earning a few bob? Absolutely. Will he be back out at the weekend earning a few bob? Absolutely. While Jurgen Klopp is probably sitting at home watching the Notts Forest game. But yeah, he didn't do his job. And yeah, some people will say, well, Jurgen Klopp didn't do his job. He lost control. Yes, he did. But that linesman lost control of the situation that triggered the reaction. So I think there's two sides to this way of looking at it. The other thing I'd like to focus on as well is the absolute scumbag Man City fans that were chanting that stuff about the sun and murderers and all that kind of stuff is an absolute disgrace. And I go back, it wasn't so long ago that when we used to go to matches and Man City fans were there, that they would bring a justice for the 96 banner and stuff like that and all, and fully support us in our push for justice and stuff like that. But it seems over time that message has been lost with certain new breed of fans who just want to create shithousery and stupidity and stuff like that. And I spoke about it last night on the show, and what really riles me up about that, I get very emotional about Hillsborough and stuff like that. It's close to my heart. I watched it on telly unfold. So it is close to my heart. And when I travel over to the matches, I always make a point of bringing my son Ben to the Hillsborough Memorial and, you know, saying a few prayers and laying maybe a scarf or a little token gesture or something like that for those people who didn't go home that day. So when people bring that up, yeah, I really get roiled by it. And I just thought it was disgusting. And I thought it needed to be acted on. And I'm waiting to hear, is it going to be acted on and stuff like that. And I think that the Manchester City should look at their fans and they should sort that out very, very quick, that element within their fan base. The other thing I'd like to bring up is about our own fans. And what I would say on that is, any fan who goes to Anfield to watch a game, you should treat it as an absolute privilege, not a given, because there is millions and millions of fans around the world who never get to visit Anfield, who can't afford to visit Anfield, and will probably never get to visit Anfield. So you should cherish the moments that you have in there, and especially cherish the moments in matches like that match the other day, where you're going in heavily as the underdogs, not dissimilar to the Barcelona game and stuff like that. We were touted that we were going to get a right hiding off Man City there on Sunday, and we turned it around, and every player showed up and presented themselves in such a high level with such high energy, never dropped the ball at any stage, and put on an amazing performance to beat Man City 1-0, which was amazing. And then I know that Pep was inciting the crowd and the arm waving and the going down on the knees and all the shithousery that he normally goes on about. But that's nothing new to us as a fan base. I mean, he was on his knees as soon as Salah turned Cancelo. I don't know if anyone's seen the clip. It's an amazing clip. But he's that animated shithousery waving at the fans. And he could only pray at some day that an atmosphere like that and a fan base like that he would have one day at Man City. And I think it's really, you know, I think really from our own fan base, anyone who was throwing coins or throwing bottles or whatever it was, a Pep or whoever it was, I think you should take a look at yourself. You're there to represent your club. It's an absolute privilege to be there, to be in Anfield, and especially during those games. Because they're the games that you remember. They're the games that young lads at that match will be telling their kids about, that grandfathers at that match will be talking to their grandkids about and stuff like that. It was a great game. It was an intense, fierce battle between two rivals that are really going up against each other in the Premier League. It's as big a rivalry as you'll get. And I think you have to remember and not ever, you know, disrespect the club, the players, the history, and everything that's gone before you. And you have to conduct your stuff yourself in a certain way. And I just thought our own fans at that stage let us down a little bit. and they should really have a good hard look at themselves and stuff like that, because it's really, really important. If we're going to have a balanced argument about these things, and we're going to talk about that other stuff on the other side that went on and stuff like that, we have to make sure our own house is in order and that we're representing our club the best way we can. But that it's an absolute privilege to be at those games and to witness the history of those games. Imagine all those people that were at that Barcelona game, that 4-0 game. It must have been amazing. That's an experience, a life experience that you could never buy, that you take with you for the rest of your life. So always remember, you're representing your club when you're there, and your actions, they don't go unnoticed. And these days, everything is microscopic and scrutinized. So really, really be careful, because the last thing we want is fans losing their season tickets or getting a ban from the club and all this kind of thing, just over a moment of stupidity, even though you were getting incensed and Pep was inciting the crowd. Never bow down to that level. We're Liverpool, and we should have a certain level of respect. And no one more than us knows how we should be respected, because our fans have been disrespected at times for years. So that's all I really have to say about that. So let's get into this preview. But I hope, apart from that, I hope you're all having a really good week. I hope you really enjoyed Sunday. I have to say, it put a few years on my life. The nerves were absolutely gone. The heart was beating 90. The hairs were standing up on the arms, and it was an absolutely brilliant game. And again, hopefully a game where we can bring our form into the West Ham game. Warren back again. It's absolutely disgusting, pure and simple. People disrespecting the people who died at Hillsborough. Yeah, absolutely, Warren, 100%. And what I was thinking there is, those people that are singing and chanting that stuff don't realise that right adjacent to them in that stand, there could be people sitting there who have been heavily affected, their lives changed forever on that day. And anything that's brought up like that just brings up that pain and suffering and everything that those people have gone through, and even our supporters. Um, so it's bang out of order. It's unacceptable, and it's real low level stuff. Warren back in the comments again. I get very emotional when the subject of Hillsborough is brought up. No fan should ever die at a football match. Absolutely. And you think about it, there's Warren there. Warren's an Arsenal fan, and that's how he feels about it. Warren, probably like myself, was probably watching this on telly when it happened and stuff like that. And it's just, I always say on these things, a parent should never bury a kid, and a person should never not come home from a match. Um, and it's just, that's all I can say about it. I just hope that, it's acted on in the right way. And I think both clubs have a part to play in this. I think we've a part to play as well in our own fans, if the coin tossing and all that kind of stuff, that should be sorted out as well. And also, but there's no room for that kind of thing. Anyone who starts, like, you have to ask yourself, like, if you look at the weekend that's happened there, you've Ivan Toney, who went out there on Friday night, played absolutely brilliant for Brentford, winning the game 2-0, class penalty, brilliant back flick goal. Goes onto social media, probably feeling as high as a kite after winning that game and stuff like that. Great performance by the boy who's trying to break into the England squad and stuff like that for the World Cup, where these boys' dreams are made and stuff like that. And then he logs on, and this is the fucking wave of shit that he gets. Racially abused by an absolute imbecile in 2022. You know what I mean? And then that was on Friday night. And it just goes on and on and on. I just can't even imagine the wave of this stuff that doesn't even make it out into the public eye and stuff like that. What some of these players have to deal with, and even some of them so young. You know what I mean? When you think about it, I can't get started on this. How angry I feel about it. You know what I mean? It's just, these people should be locked up. They should be made an example of, and it's an absolute disgrace. And somewhere along the line, I don't know what it is in 2022, but somewhere along the line, we have forgot what it's nice to be decent human beings and stuff like that, and the human race, and that we're all one. And it absolutely bugs the hell out of me. I can't believe this still exists in 2022, that we have to educate people on no room for racism in 2022. Like, it's just shocking. I'll get off my soapbox now, because I could go on all night just talking about this stuff. It just riles me up. But yeah, apart from that, look, I was delighted with the win. It was well needed. I did say before the Arsenal game that I felt we needed to get 3 points somewhere, be it the Arsenal game, which we lost, obviously, or the City game. So it was fundamental that we got that win. That gets us back in somewhere in around that situation. But up next is West Ham. And if we don't put in a performance tomorrow night, and if we don't come out the way we did against Man City, we will be punished. This is a really, really good team. They struggled for a bit of form early on. They're starting to find a little bit of form now. Similar to ourselves, they've had a similar start to ourselves in terms of it's going to be a little bit haphazard, if you like. But this is a really, really important game because this is another game where we're coming off the back of a really good performance and a really good win. And we're going to have to try and build a run. If we want to get back in around things, we're going to have to go on a serious run. And this is a big game. And probably, I know Darren mentioned it last night on the Monday mashup, coming off a win like that against Man City, probably the last team you want to face is West Ham because they're really, really good. But look, everyone plays everyone twice. So that's the way it is. So it's West Ham up next. As I said, we're coming off a sensational performance against Man City where no one gave us a chance, most of even our own fan base. I predicted that I'd be absolutely stoked with a draw, and I was even more concerned when the lineup came out. So look, I'm going to put my hand up. James Milner, fair play to you. You proved me wrong anyway. I was really, really concerned about that, and obviously Joe moving back into central defence as well concerned me as well because he had a few poor performances in there. But great to see him back out there. I gave him a man of the match on the night. He was absolutely sensational on the night. Like everyone else, everyone played great to a man. And that's what you need to win these games. But that's what you need. There's no easy Premier League games. And I say that all the time. So everyone has to show up. No complacency, full of energy, 100% from minute one. Don't cough up anything too early. That's how we did well in this game. We didn't give away anything early and we stuck to our plan. And at times we moved the plan around, we shuffled things around, we moved the formation a little bit, we adjusted a little bit when we had to and stuff like that, which shows that there's a bit of dynamic movement there within the squad to be able to adjust to different situations, stuff like that. At times Harvey Elliott was popping up everywhere. The boy was absolutely sensational the other night. West Ham are coming in on the back of a draw against the Saints. Not a great result for them, but in different form in the league. Our current form at the moment, 3 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. West Ham at the moment is Noah's Ark, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. In terms of team news, of course, we'll be missing Jota and Diaz, 2 huge losses for us. Matip is still out as well, and Ramsey is still working his way back to fitness. Melo and Keita are out as well. Ox is working his way back to fitness as well. And of course, Kanate is still out with a muscle injury. So we'll have to, I won't say makeshift, but like we've lost a couple of key players. For West Ham, they're losing key players as well. Dawson and Zuma both missed Sunday's game, so they may not be available for Wednesday. Aguerd has out with an ankle injury, and Maxwell Cornet has missed the last 4 games. Sensational player, Maxwell Cornet. We've spoken about him many times on this podcast. Really, really good player. If you look at the predicted lineups for West Ham, Fabianski, Johnson, Carrere, Cresswell, Kufal, Suchek, Rice, Emerson, Bowen, Scamacca, and Paqueta. Really, really strong. How good has Scamacca been since he came in? Stuff like that. So good, I put him in my fantasy football. He's a really, really good player. And it's just his movement and his passing. Darren has spoke about him as well. And when you mix that in there with the likes of Declan Rice, who at the moment is arguably one of the best midfielders in the league, if not, he is absolutely sensational these days. So that's where you're going to figure that the thread is going to come from. They're going to bring high energy. They're going to bring a sort of an intensity, an aggression, and that's how they play. And we're going to have to stand up for that. If you look at our own team I've put together as well. Not dissimilar to the other night. So I started out Allison, of course, in nets, who has been absolutely sensational this season. One of few that has held his form from last season. We mentioned that all the time. At the back, it's a kind of a conundrum there at right back. Do we stick with James Milner, who put in a great performance? Who would feel really hard done by if he was taken out of the team. It's probably one of the best performances he's played for Liverpool since he's been there, which is mad considering when he was announced that he was playing on the wave of hate and crap and everything else that came with it. This guy is done, 37 years of age and all that. And look, hey, I mentioned it as well that I was concerned about as well, but he proved me wrong. So I think it'd be hard done by to take him out of the team. And I wonder would it be worth saving Trent maybe for the Forest game, or introducing him during this game at some stage. But I think it'd be very harsh to take Milner out of that. Gomez, of course, I think has to stay there. Kanate and Matip both still out. But Joe had a sensational game the other night, keeps his place. Van Dijk in there as well. Looked more like the old Van Dijk. Just, no messing about defending. None of this aura stuff, just bold, harsh defending. And of course, Robinson in there as well, who was absolutely sensational, absolutely worked that line unbelievably the other day. So four at the back. I'm not sure it's a 4-4-2 looking at this, but I don't know whether it'll drift into maybe a 4-5-1 with Firmino in the pocket or whatever way they're going to do it. In the midfield, Elliott on the right, who was sensational the other night. Fabinho, who had an excellent game as well, was only taken off because he got booked. Thiago pulling the strings as always, and him and Carvalho there stoking up a really good relationship there at the moment. Could bear fruit for us. And then up front, of course, Mo Salah, the man in form at the moment. Probably could have had 2 or 3 against City the other day. But certainly when he got the chance, he took his goal lovely. Brought Pep to his knees, which is always a good thing to see. And Bobby, who's having a sensational season. Bobby Firmino looking like Bobby of 2018. A man who was playing for a contract, no doubt, out of contract at the end of the season, but is absolutely having a sensational season so far. And long may it continue. So the question is, I don't know. The question is, the talk is maybe play Noonan. You could play Darwin in there on the left, and you could shift it into a 4-3-3 if you wanted. There's a couple of options there for us, as depleted as we are with injuries and stuff like that. But missing Diaz and missing Jota is huge for us. But the boy Carvalho, when he comes on, I mean, he's a ball of energy. He tries really, really good things. He tries a lot of different stuff as well, which teams can't kind of follow or track or understand. So always good to have him in there. But again, you could obviously shift Thiago over with Fabinho in the middle and Elliott on the side there on the right, and you could take Carvalho out if you wanted and put Darwin Núñez in. My thinking would be to spring probably Trent and Núñez into the game, but not start with them. I think when we've seen this season, Darwin, sometimes when he comes on as a sub, he looks a lot hungrier than when he starts. And again, it's amazing. It's amazing the wave of crap that he gets at being a failure, because if you look at this season, everyone feels like a failure compared to Haaland. But if you look at Darwin Núñez, he's played less than 6 games worth of minutes, and he has 4 goals, I think, and 1 assist. So, I don't know what people are expecting. I know at times he's a little bit loose in his control and stuff like that. And obviously, we seen the other day in the Man City game as well, he doesn't always necessarily make the right decisions in the moments. He could have squared that one to Salah for a dead set goal without a doubt, but he didn't. He chose to go at it. But yeah, I think maybe he might be an option to introduce from the bench. Depending on how the game is going. And again, Trent could be one that could be introduced, depending on how Jimmy gets on. Now, obviously, 2 games so close together in 4 days for James Milner might be a stretch, so maybe that's where Trent comes in. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments on what you feel the lineup should be. We do still have a number of options there, and in terms of formations and stuff like that, regardless of who's out at the moment. So be interesting to hear people's thoughts on how they think we should line up. But a huge game for us on Wednesday evening, so one that we need to win to continue the run going and get it going really for the season. If you look at the head-to-heads, there's been 31 games between us. Liverpool have won 19, West Ham have won 11, and there was 1 draw. If you look at Anfield, there's been 15 games in total. Liverpool have won 10 and West Ham have won 5. So that's your kind of head-to-heads. Betting at the moment, Liverpool are 4-9 on. The draw is 7-2 and West Ham are 11-2. Again, we know these guys will always come to Anfield to give us a real good game. West Ham always give us a real good game. And like I said, not necessarily the game you might want to go into after a tough, intense, fierce battle against Man City. But again, we'll take the games as they come to us. Prediction. I'm going to go 3-1 I think I'm going to go 3-1. I think the endeavour of Rice, Scamacca and Paqueta will probably bear fruit in terms of getting a goal. But I think we might have too much for them at the moment. They are slightly depleted at the back. And we might be able to take advantage of that. And obviously Fabianski, a very, very good goalkeeper as well. So we're going to have to be on our game as well to put a few by him. But I expect Liverpool to win 3-1. I don't expect it to be easy. And who knows, on the night we could rise up as far as the dizzy heights of 5th, depending on how other results go, if we get this win under our belt as well. And that will lead us lovely into the Forest game at the weekend. That's all I can say at the moment. Let us know your predictions in the comments. Let us know your potential lineups and what you think. Also, if you could, on the way out, if you're enjoying the videos and stuff like that, drop a like on them, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to push well over the 500 at this stage subscribers. We know it's tough trying to get these done, but it doesn't cost anyone, and it only takes you a few seconds. And we're a decent channel who puts in a decent shift, putting content out practically every day. I will be back tomorrow night, and probably somewhere around 9:45 with a match reaction. Hopefully we'll have another win under our belts, and it won't be like what's happened previous in the season, where we thought we had rebooted the season and then we fall apart again. Hopefully a real good performance put in tomorrow night and 3 points. That's what we're looking for. Until then, Reds, head up. Let's get this win. Let's put the hammers to the sword, as they say. Until next time, Reds, I will be back with you tomorrow night for a match reaction and player ratings. Cheers.